What is going on, everybody on YouTube? I'm back with another YouTube video. I'm a little bit under the weather, as you can tell, but it's all good. I wanted to still push out some content for you all. In this video, I'll be basically showing you guys my mock-ups versus the real shoe. Sometimes early on, I'll get a description of the shoe. I'll do a mock-up for it, and then months later when they hit production, oftentimes the mock-ups do come out looking better than the actual shoe. Jordan Brand does what they want and change things last minute. But anyways, I gathered a couple of mock-ups that I've done in the past and compiled them all together in this video. And with that being said, all these mock-ups in the video are shoes that drastically changed or slightly changed a little bit. But I'd say about 98% of the time my mock-ups are spot on to the real shoes. But of course there are some instances where things change. This video is just to revisit some of those mock-ups. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So up first we have the Air Jordan 6 UNC. So this mock-up I did was created about 9 months prior to them releasing. As you can see here, I pretty much got all of the important details correct. But the biggest difference between these and the retail pair is that they went with black instead of college navy on the midsole, sock liner, and heel tab. But as you can see here, the mock-up was pretty darn close. The shade of the blue is definitely a little bit lighter. The collegiate patch is on the heel, and the tongue is definitely similar. So originally the mock-up is exactly how the shoe was going to look, like 1000%. But like I said at the beginning of the video, Jordan Brand can change anything at any given time. But in my opinion, I like the black more. It definitely accents the shoe a bit better. So here again, the mock-up versus the retail pair. Which one do you prefer? Okay, yes, next up we have the Air Jordan 4 white and midnight navy. This shoe, I was originally told that they would look like the fire red 4s, but instead of that red, it would be navy. But it wasn't until a couple months later that I got word that they would look like the white cement 4s, but instead of the black, it would be navy. Yes, I'm not gonna lie, this was a bit of a disappointment. At first, I was not feeling the actual shoe. But as months started to progress, I kind of came around to it. I actually like them a lot now. But again, yeah, this was kind of a disappointment. Definitely a flip on the color blocking itself. Picture here on the screen is the mock-up on the left and the retail shoe on the right. Let me know in the comments section which one you guys like more. Next up we have the Air Jordan 3 Desert Elephant. Again, this is another shoe that I had information for 9 months in advance. So when I did the mock-up, I knew the color blocking would be 100%, but the only bit about these that threw me off is that they said that these would come with a natural finish on the elephant print. So at the time of doing the mock-up, I wasn't really sure how to visualize that. So here pictured on the screen is the mock-up I did back in September 2021, and I believe that this shoe first surfaced online in February 2022. When the images hit the net, bam! The elephant print looked terrible. So when Jordan Brand said natural finish on the elephant print, this is what they meant. When I posted these to Twitter, everybody was like, oh, Z, you got these wrong, you got these wrong. And realistically looking at it, I only got one detail wrong on the mock-up, and that was the elephant print. So yeah, I can kind of see where everyone's coming from, but you at least got to give me credit for getting the rest of the shoe accurate. That's the risk of putting out these mock-ups, because most of the time they are accurate and spot on, and other times Jordan Brand adds little details, change the materials, or even swap the color blocking last minute. Again, it's totally up to Jordan Brand. I don't work for them, so I think it's okay to make small mistakes like these. But yeah, overall, picture here on the screen is the mock-up versus the retail pair, and in my opinion, the mock-up is way better than what released. Jordan Brand, if you're looking for another designer on the team, hit me up. So next up we have the Air Jordan 1 High OG Electro Orange. Soul Heat on Feet and I dropped this info about a year in advance. I believe I first posted about these in August of 2020. Again, this info was very early. Around this time I had no description whatsoever of what the shoe would look like. And I knew in the previous years we got different variations of the shattered backboard theme on the Jordan 1s. So when I saw that the colorway was white, orange, and black, you would think it would be something like this, right? Wrong. It was only a couple months later I got more description on the shoe, and then I updated the mock-up. But as you see pictured here on the screen, it still wasn't 100% accurate. I was only told a brief description of them, and my guys kind of missed out on some of the details. But yeah, this colorway was a big disappointment to say the least. And since the information was just so early, I don't think there was any way possible that I would get the mock-up 100% accurate. But who knows, maybe in the future we'll get a Shattered Backboard 4.0 in the black toe color blocking. And we would know for certain if the colorway was something like Sail, Starfish, and Black. But as always, I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, so following those, we have another Shattered Backboard themed Air Jordan 1 High OG. Soul Heat on Feet and I dropped the info in December 2018, and I believe these dropped in October 2019. So yes, I did get some description on these beforehand. I was basically told they will be a Shattered Backboard 3.0, and it would be basically in that bread color blocking with a little twist. Definitely not bad for a year in advance, but here's the mock-up versus the retail pair. Now, it wasn't until later in 2019 Mr. Unloved Ones told me that they would be coming in patent leather and would have a full pale vanilla outsole. Now, I knew they would come with patent leather, but not this chicken grease looking patent leather. Again, Jordan Brand's definitely not going to always give us what we want. I did end up changing the mock-up, and here it is pictured on the screen. The only thing that was really missing was the crinkled patent leather. So if they released just like this, I think they would have been more of a hit, and I definitely would have liked them a lot more. Alright, so next up on the list we have the Air Jordan 4 SE Women's Starfish. This is another one of those shoes that we had information very early on. And at the time I had no description on what they would look like, but I still wanted to make a mock-up for visual purposes. And at the time I posted them, I did make sure to mention that. The colorway for this one was Sail Black, Starfish, and Light Smoke Gray. And with that colorway being said, you would expect these to come with a full Sail upper, but for these, that was not the case. Picture here on the screen is the mock-up versus the retail pair. As you can see, there are drastic differences, and pretty much nothing on the shoe is the same. It was definitely a letdown, just to say the least, but this colorway definitely had a lot of potential. Let me know in the comment section which colorway you guys would prefer more. Next up is the Air Jordan 4 White Oreo. So this is another one of them releases where I didn't really get much description on at the time of leaking the info. I was told that they would draw some sort of inspiration from the Black Oreo colorway and have some hits of fire red throughout the shoe. It wasn't until a couple months later, blam, we got hit with the first looks. And yeah, this definitely looks like an entirely different shoe. When I initially posted the first looks, everybody was like, is this a different shoe or is this the same White Oreo that's supposed to be coming out? That's why I was sure to put in the original post that it was just a mock-up. I wasn't sure about the color blocking or the placements. I mean, either way, I think both shoes would have been bangers. I do like the release version a little bit more. It definitely shines off as a summer shoe. Definitely let me know in the comment section which one you guys prefer. Furthermore, we have the Air Jordan 1 High OG Royal Toe. So yeah, I did this mock-up maybe a couple years ago, probably right after the bread toes dropped, and I came out on Instagram asking, would you guys cop a Royal Toe? It wasn't until later in 2019 I announced that there would be a Royal Toe Air Jordan 1 High OG releasing in 2020. So originally I did get a description on how they would look thanks to my guy DJ Folk. He basically told me to picture a black and white Air Jordan 1 with a royal toe and a royal collar. So I did end up posting an updated mock-up, but this was the original mock-up that I did for the Royal Toe Air Jordan 1s. So who knows, maybe in the future we will get a proper Air Jordan 1 High OG Royal Toe with that new updated shape for the Air Jordan 1 High OGs. Next is the Air Jordan 4 MANIERE. So of course there were mock-ups floating around for the past couple of months before we saw the actual shoe. And basically all people did was take the color blocking from the Air Jordan 3 and just transfer it to the Air Jordan 4. At the time, nobody had seen the actual shoe and everybody was just kind of guessing of how the shoe will actually turn out looking. So as I stated on my original post, I did mention that was probably not how the shoe was going to look, but instead I wanted to provide some sort of visual for the shoe. A couple months later, and blam, we have the Air Jordan 4 MANIERE first look. Not gonna lie, it's definitely a clean colorway. It's more so a flip on the colorway we were expecting.
There's definitely a lot of cool details they included in on this shoe, with the MANIERE button on the lateral side. Of course, you got Nike Air on the heel. Very nice materials used on the upper of the shoe. And of course, you got that quilted sock liner. Now, somebody had reached out to me telling me that the original sample of the Air Jordan 4 MANIERE was actually going to look more so like the mock-up. But since we got the PSG Air Jordan 4s a couple years ago, there were some complications and they weren't able to use that color blocking anymore. Still, nonetheless, a really nice shoe. I think it's one of the best Air Jordan 4s we've seen in a while. Definitely let me know in the comment section if you guys are feeling the mock-up more or the actual shoe. The retail pair is coming out in November. Following those, we have the Air Jordan 5 Anthracite. This is another one of them shoes where I didn't really have much of a description beforehand, but I did have the colorway and style code information. Me and Sole Heat on Feet collabed on this information a couple of years ago, and with the colorway being what it was, you could have basically expected an all anthracite shoe with black accents throughout the entire upper. So about 6 to 8 months later, we got hit with the first look, and as you can see, there are drastic changes from the materials to the color of the outsole and the overall build of the shoe. I still think the shoe came out pretty good. Either way, the shoe would have been fire. When they released, I think it's one of the more slept on Air Jordan 5 colorways. I made sure I locked in my pair of these. Picture here on the screen is the mock-up on the left and the retail pair on the right. Let me know in the comment section which one you guys prefer. Lastly, we have the Air Jordan 4 SE UNC. Now, I believe I posted information with Sneaker Files maybe a year in advance. We did end up creating a bunch of different versions of the mock-ups. But long story short, we got most of the shoe correct, but then they ended up flipping the entire midsole and outsole, with the retail pair pictured on the right and the mock-up pictured on the left. And like I said, a majority of the shoe was accurate. As you can see, the suede is a bit different. The outsole and midsole is completely flipped around. But anyways, long story short, let me know in the comment section if you guys prefer the mock-up or the retail pair. And also here, as a bonus, we have the initial mock-up I did with Sole Heat on Feet. Definitely was way off, but this was put out more than a year in advance. I would still definitely rock these. And that is all for today's YouTube video. I want to thank you guys for watching till the end of the video. This is definitely a YouTube video I've been sitting on for a while now. I want to thank the homie Unbreakable Kicks for giving me the idea. There have definitely been a lot of letdowns in terms of actual releases in the past, with the Desert Elephant 3s definitely being at the top. When those images first leaked, everybody was disappointed, including me. But like I said in the beginning of the video, 9 times out of 10 my mock-ups are on point. It's just sometimes unexpected things come up that are basically out of my control. My name is zSneakerHeadz. I'm known for first looks and release dates and just being on point with everything. Go ahead and follow my social medias listed in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like the video and subscribe. Make sure you hit the post notification bell and turn it on to all so you never miss an upload. As always, let me know in the comment section what you guys would like to see in the next YouTube video. I've definitely got a lot of nice things coming up in the future. So yes, again, I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you all next time.